Hey guys, Uncle Jay here. I was just reflecting back on some videos that I made in the past that you guys have seen. A lot of embarrassing stories, me shitting all over the side of the highway during rush hour traffic. Um, Getting a boner during an ultrasound. I'm pretty much like spilling my guts out and sharing my embarrassment and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I made these videos during COVID when I wasn't working. I was stuck in the house. I had nothing to do, and I just started making videos. I didn't think anybody would ever watch them, but fucking hey, here we are. And there's a story that I was pretty reluctant to tell until today. It's like a phobia I have. A lot of people they don't like clowns, spiders. I mean, I don't have a problem with spiders. But I'm very much allergic to their bites. Like I almost lost my foot because I got bit by a spider, and I also got bit in the armpit in the middle of the night by a spider, and it swelled up like a golf ball. And I had to go to the emergency room. I'll tell you that real quick. And the doctor's like, he said, I need to lance it and drain it. I said, yeah, kind of figured that. And he did one of these. It's gonna fucking hurt. I'm like, yeah, I figured that too. And he said, you want some morphine? Yes. Like, that's exactly how it went. He said, okay. I never had morphine before. But I saw that shit in Private Ryan. That's what they were doing to these guys that got shot on the beach and shit. They'd stick them with morphine, and they're like, ooh, and so he hooked me up to an IV of morphine, and unfortunately it didn't do shit to me. Not a fucking thing. I'd rather drink a half a bottle of Jameson, and I would have been better off. So, yeah, that sucked. And he stuffed cotton in there, and I had to pull it out and change it out and stuff every couple days or whatever. That sucked. But anyways, getting back to my thing. Everybody has like a fear, like a phobia of things that really bother them. I get vertigo from heights, so I'm not a big fan of, when I was doing stunt work, I got pretty good at high falls, doing like headers and fireman's falls, shit like that, and I hated every minute of it. I hated it. And during the jousting days, we had this castle that we'd set up, whenever we did shows, and there's a point in the show where I would get in trouble, and then hauled off by the Queen's Guards, and then they'd lock me in the tower, and the tower's like a 25-foot tower that we actually built. And then I'd escape to the top, and I'd do this spiel with the Queen and shit, and then Bill would shoot me with a musket, like a black powder gun, and I'd do a high fall onto this porta pit on top of cardboard boxes that's got a tarp on top, roped off, so they can't go out. Anyway, so I'm kind of getting off base here, and I'm sorry. I'm kind of nervous about telling you this fucking phobia that I got. So, I mean, the high falls was the thing I did the most. I mean, it set me on fire. Fuck, I'll do that every day. I don't care. As soon as I hear somebody say, you're lit, I hear cash registers. Ching, 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 ching. I have no problems getting set on fire, hit by a station wagon, dragged by a horse. I don't give a shit. Sign me up. If I gotta do a high fall, I fucking hate it. But that's, everybody has their thing, I remember doing some high fall training at a friend's place. And there's a bunch of us there. And there's a guy there that's really known for high fall stuff. Like, he did a high fall off a building in Vegas. And the thing is with that shit is that your trajectory could get really fucked up if you push off just a little too much off the edge. You could land like 20 feet off of your bag. So you have to have a good ground crew at the bottom. And I heard a story that there was a guy that when he did his fall, I think it was a header or something, whatever. He pushed off a little too much. So he was going further out, than where he was supposed to go. And the ground crew just grabbed the airbag and they started running with it and got it underneath him, just in time. Doing that shit is dangerous. And I don't even climb up the ladder to hang up Christmas lights. Anyway, so getting back to my phobia, everybody has one. No matter what it is. It's one of those things that just levels you. And to me, I had to do a lot of soul searching as to why, and I got it figured out. I don't like. You guys are gonna fucking love this. You guys are gonna give me shit, but I don't care. Give me shit. You know what? I've been set on fire. You haven't. I got punched in the face by Roddy Piper. You haven't. Go ahead. I did full contact jousting. I can't fucking stand. I get really upset when, like mascots, shit like that. The Easter Bunny, big costumes, like that stuff flips me the fuck out. And it's one of those things. Like, well, how did I get to that point? Like, I've always kind of had a thing like that. Shit really upsets me. Those inflatable fucking things you see outside of stores that that do this shit. Like I don't like those either. I don't know why, but I did some reflecting. And clowns, I'm not a big fan of clowns. But who is? Sorry if you work in a circus and you're a clown. So it goes back to my childhood. I moved out to Southern California when I was in like 5th grade or something like that. To Ventura County, and there's a Chuck E. Cheese in Oxnard. I don't know if it's still there. I heard that they were going under. And I went to a birthday party. I don't remember whose birthday it was or whatever, but I'm at Chuck E. Cheese with these kids, and I'm having a blast. I'm in the ball pit. I'm playing skee ball, playing some arcade games and stuff, and then like the moms wrangle us all up. Like, oh, the show's gonna start. The show's gonna start. Okay, well, what fucking show? So we enter the showroom, and there's Chuck E. Cheese and fucking all these other characters on this stage, and it's dark. And they're sitting there, and their eyes are open. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Are those people in costumes? Like, I couldn't figure it out. And all of a sudden the lights came on, and then they started like moving and and doing their fucking thing, playing music and doing some songs and interacting with each other in like a weird way, like moving around and shit. I'm like, okay, I don't think these are people. I think these are like robots or some shit. And everybody's having a good time, but I'm just staring at this shit. I'm trying to figure it out. And then the show's over, and then the lights go off, and then they just kind of like do that. And I'm sitting there. I wasn't eating my pizza. I was just staring at the stage. I'm like, what are they going to do when the show's over? They don't go backstage and get a drink of water? Like, what's going on here? And then I hear this random psh, psh, like that, and then like I'd swear that I'd see like one of them move, just a little bit. And I'm looking at one of them. I don't think it's Chuck E. Cheese, but it was one of the other characters. I'm looking at him, and here's psh, and then it went, and it looked right at me. I'm like, fuck this shit. Now, as an adult, I know exactly what happened. Those things are pneumatic. So that was just air pressure leaving the valve to release pressure. I know what it is. But, you know, when you're a kid, it freaks you the fuck out because you can't explain that. And it's a sound that I've never heard, and it freaked me out. And that kind of stuck with me. And, oh, fuck. So I've always kind of had a thing. I never went back. I swear, if Chuck E. Cheese is closing down, I'm going to fucking, I need to get some money, some investors, and because I'm broke. I want to take over one of these Chuck E. Cheese's that's closing down, and I want to turn it into a 5 Nights at Chucky's and make it an escape room with these fucking things. Have like a clown sitting in the ball pit, and you have to get through there. Can you imagine that shit? Oh man, I'd be printing money. Speaking of that, like, I tried to play 5 Nights at Freddy's. I got into it for 10 minutes, and I had to tap out. I was done. I couldn't fucking handle it. I started getting shaking, sweating. I got really upset. I couldn't fucking handle it. I can't do it. I know it's a fucking video game, but I can't deal with it, okay? Oh, fuck. Yeah, that was tough. Talking about this is a little weird. And, so in the mid-90s, I moved back in with my parents to save up money for trade school. And if you're wondering what that trade school was, I wanted to be a farrier, which is a guy, a blacksmith that puts shoes on horses and shit like that. And there's a bit of a long story about that, too. I won't get into it. But I'm living with my folks, and they said, hey, the parade's going to go on. Let's go. All right, sure, why not? So we went to the parade, and it's down this main street, and we're kind of in the middle. And the floats going by, people going by, you know, and stuff, having a good time. And I'm looking down to see what's coming. And there's a clown on stilts. And he must have been like fucking 15 feet tall. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. He's coming to get me. I kind of mumble that, and my dad said, huh? I'm like, I want to leave. I'm like 23. He's like, what? He's like, my dad's like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, God, I don't like clowns. Really? Yeah, no, I don't, and he's gonna come over here. He's gonna come right over to me. And my mom and my dad are looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, can we please leave? I sound like a total pussy right now. But I started getting anxiety and shit. And the clown, he's got like a little, he's got a fanny pack on, and it's on his side. And he's on these stilts, and he's like craning around, you know, and like going up and like interacting with people on the side of the road and shit and stuff. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. And mind you, I'm in a big crowd of people, and I kind of look down the road to see where he's at, and he's like bending over, talking to somebody or something. And he turns, and he fucking made eye contact with me. I'm like, oh fuck! Then he like swung that huge leg over, and he's looking towards me, and I'm kind of turning away, but kind of looking to see what's going on. And he starts lumbering down the fucking street towards me. And I'm like, fuck. And I shit you not, he comes right over to me. And I'm like the third row back from the street. And he leans over everybody. And he has like a fist, you know. He reaches into his fanny pack and he has one of these. And he does this shit. And I just have my hands out like this. And he drops some candy, some hard candy, into my fucking hands. And then he pats me on the head. And I'm fucking trembling. I'm shaking. And then he swung his big leg around. He went down the street. I'm like, ah! And I fucking threw that shit. I'm like, we're out of here. I gotta go. I gotta go. I told you guys that he's coming after me. And you didn't fucking believe me. And everybody's looking at me like, what the fuck is that all about? I'm chewing out my mom and dad. I'm like, I fucking told you guys. I told you guys he's coming for me. And he did. You saw it. You fucking saw what happened. So that ended the fucking night. So I don't like that shit either. But the thing with the costumes and stuff, that started at Chuck E. Cheese for me when I was a kid. Traumatized the fuck out of me. And at that time, when I was living with my folks, I was working at a record store called Camelot Music. We sold records and CDs and stuff, and we got to see a lot of cool concerts in the 90s and shit. And it was, if you've ever seen that movie Empire Records, it's pretty much that was it. That was my job. I fucking loved it, and it was in the mall. And the mall was shaped like a plus, you know. And our store was on the south end. And the food court was on the north end of the plus, but you had to get around like the center. You know, that's where like they put up the Christmas tree and have events and stuff like that. Well, it's fucking Easter time. And I'm on my lunch break, and I'm going to go to Auntie Anne's Pretzels to get a cinnamon pretzel and a juice. But I had to walk around the fucking Easter Bunny. Now, this is an issue for me. Because I don't like the Easter Bunny. When I was a kid in Missouri, my mom and dad, they took me to this department store that had an Easter Bunny. I didn't know what the Easter Bunny was. And we're in line with all these other families to get our picture taken with the Easter Bunny. And as the line grows shorter for us, I noticed I'm starting to hear crying and screaming and shit as we get closer to the fucking Easter Bunny. And I'm kind of looking to see what's going on. And every kid that got picked up and put on the Easter Bunny's lap, that kid would look at that fucking thing and started like screaming in terror. And the parents like, oh, calm down. What's the matter with you? Smile, smile, you know, and stuff. I'm like, all right, there's something fucking wrong with that Easter Bunny. All the kids know it, but the parents are unable to recognize why. They can't figure it out, but the kids all know it. There's something wrong with that motherfucker. And I didn't want my dad to hit me. And every kid screamed out in terror once they got on that Easter Bunny's lap. I was more afraid of my dad than the Easter Bunny. So when it was my time to get, we got up onto the little photo shoot area there, and I'm looking into those fucking lifeless eyes, and his hands just reach out for me like this, and I'm like, fuck, and I get pushed from behind by my dad. Get up there! And it picks me up and puts me on its knee and kind of softly puts his hands on my chest. And I don't scream. I don't fucking move. I'm holding my breath. And I hear this smile. And I did this. Flash went off. He put me down. And I grabbed my mom's hand. And she's like, oh, that was great, blah, 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 you know, and we're leaving. And we went around towards the back of that set, the photo shoot, you know, because we were going to go to some department store, JCPenney or whatever the fuck. As we're walking away, I see their Easter Bunny's head turned fucking almost all the way around like an owl and watches me walk off with my parents. That was pretty fucked up for me to see as like a 5-year-old. So fast forward to me working at Camelot Music, and I have to go around this fucking Easter Bunny. It's the same damn thing. There's a bunch of people there with their kids, and here I am. I'm like 23 years old, and I'm walking around everybody so I could get to Auntie Anne's to get my damn pretzel and my juice. And Easter Bunny's got the kids on his fucking knee. They're screaming. Same shit. There you go. Next one. Ah! Ah! You know, same shit. As I'm walking around, I'm kind of like glancing. And that fucking Easter Bunny wouldn't take his eyes off me. The entire fucking time. I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I'm not. I know what I saw. I got my pretzel. I got my juice. And on my way back, I went around to the other side. And he's sitting there with a kid on his lap. You know, like this. Ah! You know, another one comes up. Ah! And he's fucking watching me go by. And I shit you not, his fucking head turned all the way around like an owl. Just like the last one did when I was like 5 years old. I can't stand that shit. It freaks me the fuck out. I had a nightmare that night. I had a nightmare that night that I was working in the mall at Camelot Music, and I went to the food court to get my food, but I noticed that there was no shoppers in the mall, and half the lights were off. And I was thinking, well, I mean, I worked the closing shift at the record store plenty of times, so it kind of looked like that. When the mall's closed, that we're getting ready to close, they start doing that shit. They'll shut off some lights to kind of give people like, hey, you got like a 5-minute warning to get out of here before security comes and asks you to leave. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta hurry up and go get my pretzel. And as I'm walking through that little courtyard there in the middle of the mall, the Easter Bunny is sitting in his chair and there's no kids around. And I'm like, fuck. And I just ignore him and I keep going and I go northbound to Annie Ann's. The cage is rolled down. I'm like, oh fuck, they closed. I can't get my pretzel. I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here. And I turn around to go back down past the Easter Bunny to Camelot Music so I could close up with my coworkers and then get the fuck out of there. This is freaking me out. I haven't fucking talked about this in years. So I turn around and start walking back, and the Easter Bunny is right in the middle of the fucking thing there, and he's just kind of like this is a weird dream. He's like in the channel. He's no longer like on his fucking throne of evil. He's fucking in the channel, and he's just kind of rubbing his mittens and just kind of bouncing in place. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, I'll just turn around and go towards Dillard's. So I turned around and went towards Dillard's, and I could kind of, like in my dream, I could kind of hear like a thump, like he's kind of thumping, following me, you know, at a pace behind me, you know, as I go down the fucking towards Dillard's, and I'm like, fuck this, and I just start booking it. I start hauling ass in my dream, and I run into Dillard's, and I hide into a clothing rack. It's like those big circular clothing racks with hangers that you just kind of move around, like shirts and shit. I hide inside one of those things. And, oh, fuck. Why am I telling you guys this shit? And the Easter Bunny follows me in there, and I'm peeking through some fucking extra large t-shirts, and I look up, and I see the Easter Bunny kind of like doing this, like looking around. Scratch his fucking ear, and then hop, 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 and the asshole fucking hops away. I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So then I crawl out on my belly, and I start kind of like tiptoeing out of there, and then I'm like, I got it, I'm out of here. Boom! I fucking haul ass towards the music store. I go past the evil throne of death by the Easter Bunny, and I get close towards fucking Camelot. And the adjacent stores, all their cages roll up, and all these fucking Easter Bunnies come out. And they're all just sitting there like doing this. You know? Blocking the doors, and I can't get out. I'm like, oh, fuck me. And I turn around, and that Easter Bunny that was following me was there. And a bunch of his fucking gang and shit. And in my dream, I just start screaming, and I run towards that motherfucker, and I spear him. And then fucking all the other bunnies just pounce on me. And then I woke up in a cold sweat. And I think I need therapy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that story. It's fuck. All right. If you did, if you like my stories, hit like, hit subscribe. Oh shit! Check out my Twitch. Check out my stuff down below. High fives and boners. Yeah. So whenever Easter comes around, I don't leave the house. Anyways, all right, you guys. Thank you. See ya.